Good evening everyone. So today we are here for facilitation function of IEDS Topper 2025. We have Harjinder Bedi with us. So we have gathered here to facilitate him and set the right example for other candidates as well, that IEDS could be an exceptional service if you aim at with the right intention. Because most of the time we see civil service aspirants want to serve the nation. But IAS, IPS or IRS are not the only options. You could do much better for society by serving in diverse departments. So first of all, I would like to say a few words about the chief guest for today's evening. So kindly welcome Dr. Kimmi or Sethi. So she is, you could say, currently Assistant Director in Department of Food and Civil Supplies Department in Punjab. So she cleared Punjab Civil Service Examination in 2014 in general category, and she was exceptional in, you could say, the pre as well as mains part, and intro is also her, you could say, forte, because she is quite proficient in multiple languages. So to summarize, we can even say that during her college days or preparation days, she was running an institute dedicated to French language. So we have very few officers who can talk proficiently in English, French, Chinese, Punjabi. So currently she is also, I guess, associated with UN Mission of Sustainable Development. So currently she is the right face for that particular project as well. And from graduation point of view, she is related to psychology. So psychology is once again an interesting domain from human, you could say, endeavors. And she has done PhD in psychology. That's why when we are calling her, we are calling doctorate name before her. So her topic for PhD thesis was post-traumatic stress disorder and post-traumatic growth. So it's quite a sensitive topic. Typically deals with sexual violence or domestic violence associated with females. So basically that's another field in which she is equally competent enough. But from officer's point of view, she is serving in that department. Initially you serve as a district food civil supplies officer, then eventually you are controller. So this is a promotional journey as a career in food department. So currently she is serving there. So I can go on and on, because ultimately that would not be a true justice for this particular event. So in short, we can say she is one of the best individuals I have met. So I would like to welcome her on stage and share few interesting, you could say, themes related to her food and civil supply department. Because just like we have discussed IEDS, very few students take up, say, food and civil supply officer post seriously. At times, this is not their first choice as well. So we have some accidental officers at times who at times feel that they could have opted this field, especially when it comes to allied services. Without wasting any time, can we have a round of applause?
Good evening, everyone. You have heard quite enough about me, and that's not much, I would rather say, because we are all working in different fields and each field is important. There's nothing like something is more prestigious than the other. So talking about my professional work that I'm doing. So I am currently serving in the Department of Food, Civil Supplies and Consumer Affairs, Government of Punjab. So I am DFSO, District Food Supplies Controller in District Rupnagar, as well as I am Assistant Director in the headquarters also. So I am kind of looking into the field work that is done, the implementation level as well as the policy making level. So I am currently looking at both the aspects. Now we all know that how important is in the state of Punjab and Haryana wheat and paddy. You all know about the wheat and paddy procurement, that is the Rabi marketing season and the Kharif marketing season, that's done every year. So like just now it concluded, few days back only, the Rabi marketing season concluded, in which we procure wheat from the farmers at MSP. Right, you all are aware about what minimum support price is. So during the Rabi and the Kharif marketing season, we procure the wheat and paddy from the farmers. So our department is Then we store it at the rice millers because rice millers happen to be important stakeholders. So we store over there. And then there is the wheat. Wheat we store it in a godowns. Godowns are of different categories. Like there's the covered godowns, there's the open godowns, and then we have silos. Okay, so you all must have read about it. So procurement, once procurement is done, then comes the storage. So as I told you, we store wheat and paddy at separate places. So paddy is generally stored at the rice mills, and the wheat is generally stored at the godowns. And the wheat which is stored in state of Punjab and Haryana, what is basically done is that we procure wheat and that is stored under the decentralized pool category. Decentralized pool, which is primarily used under the National Food Security Act for the distribution of free ration to the eligible beneficiaries, the people who are in the category. There is a separate set of rules. So for those people, that wheat is procured and then it is distributed. In addition to that, wheat is stored in the godowns in the central pool. Central pool is basically on behalf of FCI. There are a lot of state agencies in the state of Punjab and Haryana. In both states, this is working. So in these states, there are the state agencies who are looking after the procurement operations. So then the wheat is stored and then it is distributed across India through Food Corporation of India. So that's about procurement, that's about storage, and then I've told you about distribution. So that when we distribute the wheat, or every state has their own set of commodities that they have included in the under the new National Food Security Act. So that is distributed to the beneficiaries. So in addition to that, that's just the food part. We're not yet over. There's more to it. There's civil supplies. When it comes to civil supplies, what we're looking after is that we look after the LPG, the gas cylinders supply across if you are in the district, then across the state we have to ensure that. Then in addition to that, the regulation of the petrol and the diesel. So petrol pumps also we have to do the regular supervision. And in addition to this, we even have to check the supplies of the bricks. So the brick and also, that is the monitoring that is also done by the Department of Food Civil Supplies. So normally when people think that food department is just going to that. So the operations of the petrol pumps and the gas agencies and the brick kilns is also done by Department of Food Civil Supplies and Consumer Affairs. So when you are at the helm of the affairs in this department, if you plan to get into this department, and if you plan to get into this department either at the district level or in the headquarters level, so you will be looking after all these operations as such and monitoring and regulation of these operations. So that's just in brief what we do, but there's a lot of work which is involved. Usually during, it might seem like procurement operations, it's like very easy how you carry out the procurement. You just go to them, you pay to the MSP. There's an entire IT network because now we're directly transferring the MSP payment in the accounts of the farmers. And in addition to that, there are different stakeholders which are there. Like for example, there's the labor, there's transport. So you have to check on the entire supply chain has to be checked. Then when it comes to storage, the preservation and the maintenance of the stock has to be done. So there's this entire area which is involved, and I think so it's too early to discuss all those things in detail.
Any questions from PCS, or you would say any basic query related to civil service you can ask? Any random thought or preparation or anything of that sort you can go with?
Either I was too clear or I was not clear at all. Either it could be these things. Either I was too good or I was too bad.
So she also participated in UN, you could say youth parliament. So any incident you could still recollect or would you like to share? Or because these are also youth, and is that a good opportunity for youth? Because you participated in, I think, New York, that summit.
Honestly saying, we have come a long way. We talk about sustainable development goals rather now we're going to end those sustainable development goals 2030, and whether they have been reached or not, we all know that they were definitely ambitious goals when they were outlined in the year 2015, but now we are just going to end them, and sustainable development goals and the involvement of the youth. Probably the vision of the United Nations was to involve youth because yes, all those aspects, whether it's related to poverty, health, or whether it's related to education or the industrialization and the different aspects related to this. So youth plays an important role, and for a country like India where we are demographic dividend, that is something that has been experienced in the country. So if I talk about it, we have to make sure that youth participates in those sustainable development goals in order to make it possible. Because now when I talk to my fathers or the generation that has just crossed, and now I'm looking after another set of generations also, and then I feel the difference because the way their thought process was towards those sustainable development goals, that this is something which happens. So when you talk about poverty, education, about the women empowerment, their standard reply to those questions is that this is something which happens. That is something which is there. Then you come in and then you try and say, things can change and there is a better way. And then when I talk to my son and the next generation that's coming up, he has altogether a very different perspective towards it. So that is where I feel that the youth definitely plays a very important role. When we say now that we need to be the change, we want to see it in the others. So that is where you click it. Just carrying that kind of rather I would say generational trauma over the years and years, that this is how the things have happened, would not help us. We need to break that, and youth plays an important role. Anything else?
That's enough for so we can a final round of applause for Dr.